Detroit just added octane to a race that was already loud. And I'm coming in fast because this changes how every quarterback in our path hears the footsteps. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. Here's what I'm bringing you today in one clean line. Why the front office targeted one specific closer to finish drives, how Kelvin Shepard flips third downs with him on the field, what the price really means in picks and cap flexibility, how the rotation snaps get reshuffled without breaking chemistry, and what this move signals about January. I'll walk you through the fit, the money, and the football before I flip the card on the name you came for at the exact moment it matters most, because the reveal lands better when the logic is airtight. Ride with me. This is fresh, urgent, and built for Lions fans who live every rep with the volume up. Start with the need that wins in the cold months. Finishing power from the field side when offenses chip Hutchinson and try to live off quick outs, flats, and cheap hitches. We've built a front that bullies pockets with Aleen McNeil's interior jolt. We've layered discipline into the second level, and we've cleaned up explosives on the back end. The last inch was a veteran technician who doesn't just get there, he arrives with a plan. You know the type, long strider who converts speed to power, inside knife when the tackle oversets, heavy hands that reset the launch point, and a knack for winning late in the down after the first move dies. That profile turns simulated pressure into real panic, without asking Shepard to empty the clip every third snap. It means fewer hero calls and more routine stops. The good kind of routine where the punter is your friend and the play sheet stays in rhythm. Now layer in timing. The deadline window is when leverage changes by the hour, and the smart teams don't chase headlines, they chase advantage. Detroit's board has been narrow for weeks. Add a closer who actually moves the needle, not a rotational hope. Age curve matters, durability matters, price matters, and scheme translation matters even more. What this staff wants is a bankable pass rush plan that travels. Long arm to walk a tackle back, club rip to win the edge, inside counter when protection slides, plus a motor that refuses to let second reaction throws happen. Put that in our 4-2-5 world, and you get a front that dictates instead of negotiating. Offenses trying to chip Hutch and throw hot into the flat? Good. Now the ball comes out into a buzz zone with a rusher arriving through the tackle's inside hip. Boot action, flatten and close. Max protect, you just took a receiver off the field to block and we'll win the math somewhere else. If you rock with this channel and want every snap breakdown the second it hits, drop a like and lock the subscribe now, because I'm about to map the on-field package that shows up the first Sunday he suits up, and you'll want the cut-ups I'm dropping after this. Picture the first 3rd and 6. Hutchinson to the boundary in a wide alignment, Aleem shaded strong, Kaminsky ready to twist, Brian Branch showing pressure. Our new field side rusher stands up in a 2-point with that coiled first step. The tackle widens in fear of speed. We flash long arm to dent the chest, and when the guard tries to help, the inside counter slices clean. Quarterback hitches, pocket shrinks, check down lands into a hit stick. That's not a splash play highlight. That's a drive killer repeated until opponents change who they are. On early downs, the same player plays square against outside zone, squeezes the C-gap, forces the cutback into traffic, and then wins backside pursuit if the runner bounces. The difference you feel is not just sacks, it's the number of we live to fight on third and short snaps that vanish. Let's talk rotation, because snaps are respect. Hutch remains the tone setter. The new addition lives at field edge and base and nickel, with a lean plus a rotating partner inside. On money downs, Shepard gets to choose chaos. Twist Hutch and the new closer to mess with the guard, or drop one into the low hole and bring Branch from depth. Derek Barnes still gets his downhill work. Jack Campbell keeps the green dot steady, and the front becomes less predictable without losing the core identity. Fast, violent, and under control. This is plug and play, not tear down and rebuild. Now the price. Smart aggression means day 2 value if you're buying a true closer, with escalation tied to snaps and team outcome. That's the pocket that protects both sides. A clean pick that won't wreck the long plan, plus a conditional kicker if he hits thresholds and we advance in January. Cap-wise, the remainder of this year's money is a prorated bite that you can absorb inside the current structure. You keep optionality for the spring by lining any extension with playtime triggers and postseason escalators. Translation, you're paying for real, repeatable advantage without locking yourself into a cliff.
Detroit has been ruthless about optionality since this build began, and this move fits the pattern. Buy what you can deploy immediately, keep exits open, and reward production, not promises. All of this funnels to a single reveal, and I'm putting it down now because the tape, the toolbox, and the moment line up. Trey Hendrickson. That's the closer. That's the relentless edge who turns second effort into first downs for our defense. We're talking about a player with league-leading production in 2024 and the same surgical approach this season. Heavy long arm, inside chop when tackles overset, motor that cashes coverage wins. Drop Hendrickson opposite Hutch and you delete the easy answers offenses have been stealing. The byproduct is bigger than sacks. It's fewer clean platforms, fewer rhythm throws, more second and longs where Shepard gets to call downhill coverages and let our athletes play through the ball. Risk is part of the purchase, and I'm not sugarcoating it. You don't acquire a power speed rusher without respecting the wear and tear profile. That's why the ramp plan matters. Snap count guardrails early, clear role definition, and weekly load management that still lets him hunt on the snaps that decide games. You also respect the reality that communication bust can show up when you install late. The fix is reps with purpose, same groupings in practice, third down meetings with Branch glued to the call sheet, and a trimmed menu of stunts the first 2 weeks. This staff is built to onboard pros. Hendrickson is a pro's pro, and that accelerates everything. What does it say about Detroit? It says the window isn't something we stare at, it's something we drive through. It says the front office trusts the locker room to absorb a star without changing how we work. It says Hutchinson gets a running mate who forces offensive coordinators to pick their poison instead of drawing it up on air. And it says every NFC contender who thought they could survive us by nibbling underneath is about to feel a different temperature on third down. That's not hype. That's the math of pass rush translated into field position and points. I want your voice in this before I land it. Would you have paid a day 2 price for Hendrickson with a conditional escalator tied to snaps and a playoff win, or would you have chased a cheaper rotational piece with less finishing power? How would you split the third down rush between Hutch, Hendrickson, and an inside looper, and who loses early down snaps first? Drop your take below. I read everything, and I'll pull the sharpest packages into the next breakdown so we can watch the tape together and show the league what Lions fans know. My concise read, Detroit made the right move at the right time for the right reason, add a true closer to a defense that already punches first, keep the cap flexible, and force January opponents to block honesty and violence on both edges. If the availability and ramp plan track like they should, production arrives immediately and the identity hardens. Tap subscribe, slam the like, and keep alerts on. I'll bring you the film angles, the snap-to-snap usage, and the contract mechanics as this settles in, right here on Lions News Fan Report.